already, buddy.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
Snellings,
Present.
Ferris,
Here.
Barons,
Here.
Keating,
Present.
Eichmann,
Present.
Drum,
Here.
Schrader,
Present.
Garacki,
Present.
Quorum is present.
All right, thank you very much. First up, we have approval of minutes.
Move to approve the regular minutes, December 9th, 2024 is written.
Second.
Okay, so moved and seconded. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Veto.
Thank you. Next, we have public comments. If there's anyone who is not on the agenda and would like to come forward at this time to speak to the council. Seeing no one, we will move on to the named people and public comments. I did talk to Mandy Cook tonight. She had an emergency come up and so was unable to attend, but in your agenda is some information about the public library shared by Mandy. She did want me to apologize that she wasn't able to be here to pass along holiday wishes. So there's no discussion that needs to be had on that. We will move on next to Marshall County Sports and Rec Report. JC.
Sorry, let me pull it up. How are you guys?
Good.
Okay, so I printed out and handed out the copy for the year. Overall, we had a good year. The only thing that was different would be the softball clinic. The lady who we normally does had a baby, and then trying to find somebody else to come in on the dates, it just didn't work this year. So that's the only thing really different on that. We're planning for the daddy-daughter dance already for 2025, and then we have a couple other activities we're looking at adding to the programs. We did have the college baseball team come down and they played a weekend. We are working on, they're coming, I believe, 3 different times in 2025. So looking at that for the calendar, I know one is the end of February, which is going to be cold, but they have snow up there, so they're going to come down and play. So I think we have 3 different times that they're coming in. Do you guys have any questions?
Looks like your numbers pretty much stayed up.
Yeah, very similar to last year, or the previous years. We added the we had a youth cornhole that we did it again this year. And the adult volleyball, we had that again. And the junior high summer volleyball, which will continue to have.
Anything new and exciting you're pondering for next year?
Well, there's a lot, things are still up in the air on if something's gonna happen up there, so we're still looking. I know we're looking at doing a basketball with some girls this spring or winter, the February, March timeframe. That some people wanna do to work with. And then, I don't know, just still thinking for 2025, I don't know. I wasn't ready for that one.
Sorry, I wasn't gonna put you on the spot.
You totally, it's
I thought
okay.
maybe you were stewing on something and you wanted some opinions, you know?
No, I'm still looking at adding different things. I'm just looking at what I would like to do, and I need to talk with you guys about that too, is like the farmer's market on maybe what location, if about moving it, finding something, because when we have events, it kind of is hard. That's like one of the main things that I hear a lot of is that everything's downtown, but then when everyone comes downtown, they get pushed out, and so then it's trying to find them a new place. So maybe finding a home that or have us included in that would be great, would be the one thing I would like to see for like the farmer's market, because they're there from May to September, October timeframe, so it'd be nice to have everybody included in that.
Do you think if it was more, or a more all-weather location that it could be extended? I know it feels like I'm finally getting used to going and it's over and.
I think you have some that might, but it just I think some by the time that those months are done, they're ready for a break for their Saturday mornings too, just because they're there every week and they're all, yeah, so I don't know about extending it, yeah, that would be an idea.
I was in Manhattan Saturday and they were still having theirs.
I'm surprised how many gardens I see into October, November. People have, still stuff coming off their gardens and, like I said, it's one of those funny things where I finally get in the habit of doing it, or my Saturdays open up a little more, and
Yeah.
I'm always like, oh man, only one more left or whatever, so.
Yes.
Anybody else have any comments? Keep up the good work.
Perfect.
Doing
All
great.
Thanks, Jason.
right, thank you guys, Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Christmas.
All right, we will move into business and discussion items. First up, we have the State Crisis Acting Intervention Program Grant. Lieutenant Escalante.
Good evening, everyone.
Evening.
So first up, we have the State Crisis Intervention Program Grant, and the purpose of this grant is to reduce firearms injuries and enhance our response to firearms-related kind of crimes. So this was a unique application for us, and we found out here recently that we were awarded and selected for it. So the grant will cover 6 firearm safety classes, which we've been putting on already, up to 150 personal firearms safes for us to hand out for the attendees, and $5,000 for a fire retardant safe for us to store things within our department evidence room, in addition to those other things that we have listed. So the 2 training courses I believe are very important. The mental health one through FLETC, that covers the tuition and travel for 2 staff members. Nationwide, what we're seeing is a large percentage of our calls that end up going a way that we hope they wouldn't are somehow related to mental health and someone in a mental health crisis. And so the FLETC course provides us what's considered best practices for how to handle some of those situations. And then the PERF ICAT one, ICAT stands for Integrating Communication, Assessment, and Tactics, is how to most appropriately handle calls involving weapons that aren't firearms. And so that's actually grant funded as well, so tuition for that's free, but they are covering our travel for 2 additional ones. That is a trainer, both of those are instructor level courses. And so with the ICAT one, all 3 of our current supervisors will be ICAT instructor trained.
Cool.
Any questions over the SCIP one?
On the firearm safe for distribution, can you kind of explain how that works, or?
Absolutely. So the quote that we put in there were just for ones that we found that looked like they'd fit the bill for us. And it would be for anybody who comes to our firearm safety classes. So part of that class, not only do we cover all of the things that we've covered, and will continue to cover, we'll also be able to send them home with a personal firearm safe.
Wow.
Yeah.
Are you guys advertising for that now? Do you have dates set up to start offering those classes?
We have not. So first step, I wanted to make sure that I got approval from you guys. And then we're going to look at our calendar and start putting those out here shortly.
Awesome.
Yes, sir.
How many gun safes, I'm gonna call it a gun safe?
150.
150. Yes, sir.
And the grant covers all that?
Yes, sir.
So I have a question. You have traveled to Georgia and traveled to Illinois for 2 people each,
Yes, ma'am.
but does that actually cover travel
It does. Yes,
and
ma'am.
room?
Yes, so what we put in for, so if we go to the FLETC class, all we've got to do is cover our ability to get there.
Okay.
And so if we go to a FLETC class that's on a FLETC site, room is covered
Okay.
and meals are covered.
Okay.
So yes, ma'am.
Okay.
And the other one, it will be close. It's a shorter class. The
Right.
ICAT class is a shorter class, so we do believe that it will cover all of that.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
I'll move to approve the acceptance from the Marysville PD for this grant.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to accept. Any further comments or questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Second one is our Kansas JAG grant. And we were approved for that, for up to $40,000 to get a True Narc drug analyzer. And so to provide a little background for that and why that is important is all of the other drug testing kits that we use, you have to remove the substance from whatever the packaging is and then put it in the testing kit, right? And so that exposes officers, anybody in the area, suspects included, right, to any of those substances that might poof up into the air. So what this analyzer allows us to do, in not all situations, it depends on what it's packaged in and how thick, it allows you to test it through the packaging, so you never have to open it up.
You don't even have to open it now.
Correct, correct. So if it's packaged in a certain way, then we won't even have to crack that open, thus reducing the risk both to us, anybody in the immediate area, and transporting and all of that makes it much safer. So the quote that we have in there comes in under that $40,000 maximum that is covered by the grant.
Move to approve the Edward Bryan Justice Assistance Grant.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Is there any further discussion?
So is this different than what we purchased a year and a half ago?
It's the same. This will allow us to have two, though. So oftentimes, what we'll have is we'll have a situation where we're testing those in the office. This will allow us to have one in the supervisor out, with a supervisor out in the field, and test it back at our evidence collection station at the station.
So the one we have currently does the same thing?
It is the exact same model. Yes, absolutely.
And just to clarify, I think when I was asking questions at the previous one, you guys also allow access to other departments and stuff if they need to use equipment like this?
Sure. If they were to ask for our help, absolutely, we would help them. You bet, yeah. So it's about this big. We just finished up training on the system first part of this month, mid part of this month. And so it is something that we're able to transport out in the community, have in a supervisor's vehicle, and use out in the public.
Sounds like a winner.
All right, is there any further discussion? Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
8-0.
All right.
Thank you, everyone. Merry Christmas.
Thank you.
Merry Christmas. Thank you.
All right, next we have the flow meter replacement.
Yeah, so like what was discussed during the water committee, we have a flow meter that has gone out in the water plant. We're needing it replaced as soon as possible. It is just it's just above my limit for spending. It's at $5,700, and as you recall, mine is $5,000. It's something that we're needing right away. So.
Move to approve flow meter replacement.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to approve the replacement flow meter. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
8-0.
Side question on this, since it is just above your spending limit, do you expect with prices having increased that they have, that we're gonna see quite a bit more stuff, kind of edge cases? Is it appropriate that we want to maybe look into that further?
Yeah, I mean, we've already been seeing it, specifically with supplies for our street department. You know, we go out and buy mastic, and it's right at that limit. So, I mean, we make do with what we have, so that way we don't have to send it to council every single time. But, you know, sometimes we have to make 2 orders or, you know.
Okay. I know that that's something where a lot of products have increased substantially over the last few years, so just like a lot of other things, we can stay on top of where we set those limits so that they make sense and aren't holding up any projects. I mean, this was obviously okay, but I would hate for it to, you know, be a close call.
Is there a number in mind that we should be looking at?
I don't have a personal number in mind.
Yeah, I think it's a good discussion, but I don't think it's time to.
No, I'm not saying we need to act on it, but I wanted to put it out there in people's minds so that this might be something where we see what other cities are doing, or if we can get kind of an average cost of a recurring expenses where it makes sense for us to you know, adapt it.
Would that be like an admin and finance committee thing?
It would be. I don't know that it's something we need to have a special meeting about yet, but the next time the admin finance committee meets, I think it'd be appropriate for review.
Yeah, makes sense.
Trying to make your life a little easier too. How about that? All right, next moving on to ordinance 1940, establishing food truck. This has been discussed numerous times by the Admin Finance Committee, kind of hewed to, with the help of Mr. Ralph, to get regulations that make sense. And this is an up-and-coming kind of business area in the community. We've been seeing more food trucks, and this gets us in front of some of that as far as safety, as well as setting them up to be a thriving part of the business community rather than purely being competition. So, are there any comments or questions on this ordinance as it's presented here?
Move to approve ordinance 1940.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Is there any further discussion? Roll call?
Snellings,
Yes.
Ferris,
Yes.
Barron's,
Yes.
Keating,
Yes.
Weichman,
Yes.
Rom,
Yes.
Schrader,
Yes.
Gurecki,
Yes.
Cato.
Okay, thank you. And next we have ordinance 1941, creating the Youth Advisory Council. This is another one that we've had numerous meetings on. We've worked in conjunction with the local school, MHS, as well as reviewing what some other communities have done. Sammy's done a great job putting this kind of together in this form, and there's no guarantees a year or two from now we won't want to make some modifications here, but this is kind of a good starting point to get it rolling forward. So, any comments or questions on 1941?
Move to approve ordinance 1941.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Is there any further discussions?
I would comment that I talked to to Darren, and he is very grateful that we're doing this to help get some kids involved in some things that might not, have the opportunity to do elsewise.
I think that's a great part of it, and I told him as well that it's a little self-interested because we want to get a little excitement for some future council people nobody wants to be here forever. So. Any further comments or questions?
Can I ask one question?
Yes.
Do you want it to be committee or council?
Oh.
And I put committee, but I can sure change this to council.
I guess I didn't catch that. I've always called it council, but we can call it a committee. I don't know. It's still YC either way.
Yeah.
I think it's committee.
Committee?
In my mind.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's just fine. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, any other questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Roll call.
Oh, roll call.
Oh, shoot.
I got so distracted by the committee comment.
Snellings,
Yes.
Ferris,
Yes.
Barron's,
Yes.
Keating,
Yes.
Weichman,
Yes.
Rom,
Yes.
Schrader,
Yes.
Gurecki.
Yes.
Cato.
All right, thank you.
I would say if the school could have nominations for the meeting on the 13th, that would be wonderful, so that way they can still have a meeting in January. Otherwise, they'll have a meeting in February.
I will reach out to Tim and see what we can do to make that happen.
That might be an aggressive date. They're all out of school until
The sixth.
the 6th. So it might be tough. I would
Yeah.
push that back.
Yeah, I'll talk to him and see if it might end up being the next meeting, but
Yeah.
we can at least get it close to rolling. How about that? Okay, moving on to ordinance discussion regarding Charter 9 ordinances 1891 and 1900. This is something we've discussed a few times, and I don't know that we've necessarily decided how we want to proceed yet, other than we want to make sure we clear this up with a charter ordinance, more than likely that will give us kind of a bulletproof understanding of being on the right side of the law. The Attorney Westbrook, do you have comments on this?
And I haven't had time since taking over city prosecutor role. That's been eating the majority of my time when it comes to city affairs. But just in the brief overview I have done of these, I would advise the council to take the time, have legal, analysis done on this or legal opinion by your next city councilor. Take the time, because some of these ordinances, ordinance number 1891 adopts the city code. And so if you repeal ordinance 1891, then you've repealed the city code as it is in place now. Ordinance 1900 also references Charter Ordinance number 18, which references a 2008 Senate House bill that, you know, I think would need to be reviewed before any pertinent decisions are made. I mean, this is a decision that, you know, needs to have the proper time and research put into it before a rush is made, and we wind up with a bigger problem, one that or maybe not problem, but issue than we're currently facing, so.
So it's your take that, you know, we can clean this up, but we should do it a little more carefully or with a report or with review by the new, if approved, city councilor?
City councilor or outside counsel if there's somebody more qualified, and I'd really fine tooth comb everything whenever it comes to these ordinances, because if you do a sweeping repeal, you don't know what effects that's gonna have with all the other things that are tied into these ordinances, so. And I just think if the council does want to make these revisions, just take the time to make sure it's done right so we don't create further problems down the road.
Well, I mean, and that's understandable in the sense that, I mean, sometimes I think we do get the cart ahead of the horse because we're trying to solve problems and we're aggressive enough that we cause other problems. So I can appreciate that.
And that's where we're at.
Well, exactly my point. It's one of those, you can get so busy, you know, getting ahead that you step on your own feet sometimes. So, what other comments I think the council in general is of the opinion that we do have a lot of uncertainty here that we do need to clean up. What other comments or questions? I mean, a little bit of this is obviously hinging on the approval later of the city attorney, because if we are going to review it, and well, regardless, we're going to need city attorney work to be done.
I think that it's, obviously we need to wait till we get future council, and not council being replacement here. But at the same time, we really got to take a hard look at why do we have some individuals in what I would say an upper level staff position that report to council versus city administration. And I think that's the big thing that needs to be cleaned up, is which way are we gonna go there?
It's a little inconsistent.
Yes.
There's a lot of things that, I mean, I think Josh has done a good job of working on finding places where we have everything from job descriptions to reporting requirements that are not harmonized across different parts of the city. And it would behoove us to make them more consistent and predictable and beyond reproach.
And I would say at this point, this discussion needs to be tabled until future council.
Okay. Other
I'll second
those comments?
Is that a motion?
I don't know.
You don't make a
You don't have to make a motion to table. You can just take no action.
Yeah.
That's
I agree, we need to
consensus of
wait.
the council that we can get our new attorney if approved.
Get a good look at it.
If approved on this ASAP.
I don't think there's any reason to be hasty on this, with these decisions. I mean, this sounds a little weighty.
Yeah.
So.
Well, our new attorney with the assistance of his assistant, I do believe has experience in these kinds of matters and can, you know, do a thorough review because yes, nobody wants us to dig a deeper hole.
Yeah, I agree with that. We should have them look at it, but I don't think we need to keep tabling it for another 10 generations. It's something we need to have them get on right away and make sure that we're fulfilling our O's as we took.
Can we add that to the table or unresolved on the back?
Well, and what I will say too, part of that discussion is gonna be, the council members are gonna have to come up with an opinion individually on how we think it should be.
Right.
We can't just strictly, nothing against lawyers, we just can't have somebody tell us how it should be.
No.
We gotta have an opinion based on what we feel and our constituents feel.
We
long term.
create the policy with the guidance of
Yep.
an attorney to interpret the law.
And
Yep.
the city attorney, I mean, kind of works at your direction. We just make sure that we stay in the right direction wherever we're doing it, so. But the city attorney takes his guidance from the council.
Yep.
So we each need to find out which direction we want to
can't-
take with this situation, whether.
What I'm saying is we can't try to pin it on the future city attorney.
Right.
Make him make the decision. We gotta make our own
Policy
decision.
decision, and we're elected to make policy decisions.
100%.
Okay, we will table that for the time being. I see no notices and hearings. And next we have the consent agenda.
Move to approve consent agenda.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Ditto.
Thank you. And next we have appropriations ordinance 3837.
Move to approve appropriation ordinance 3837, amount of $458,922.01.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Roll call?
Stallings?
Yes.
Ferris?
Yes.
Barons?
Yes.
Keating?
Yes.
Eichmann?
Yes.
Rom?
Yes.
Schrader?
Yes.
Gurecki?
Yes.
Ditto.
Thank you. Okay, next we have city administrator report. Josh?
Yeah, so the first item is the annual employee cost of living wage adjustment. That's the 3% COLA that we've been talking about for a while. I'm suggesting that it be effective January 5th, so that way it makes it a little bit easier on our payroll, so it's not splitting the payroll. And it's just keeping in line with what the Social Security COLA was the year before, so.
Move to approve, cost of living increase at 3% for the, city employees.
Second.
Okay, it's moved and seconded. Any further discussion?
Well, that was the raise in cost of living, correct, for that, for the year?
Yeah, it's what the Social
Yes,
Security.
yeah, it's what we've
Administration-
been talking about through the
Right.
budget process, and, yeah.
Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Ditto.
Thank you.
Okay, and other news, January 11th, is the annual chamber banquet. Is the city wanting a table or two at the banquet?
I won't be in town.
What date is that?
January 11th, it's a Saturday.
I'll be there.
I'd come if you have the
Yeah.
table, but.
Yeah, I'd be there.
here.
Okay. And then spouses or no spouses? Email me who is all going to attend and if you're bringing your spouse.
That's January 11th,
yeah.
at what
Yep.
time?
Doors open 5:30, dinner's at 6:30
And that's where?
at venue 36. It sounds like we'll possibly need one table, but maybe two if plenty of people come, so. Okay. Otherwise, this Saturday was Mrs. Claus's reindeer games. There was a lot of fun cookie decorating. There was hot chocolate and gift wrapping and all kinds of events. There was a live reindeer, so you got to go see it. Good time for the kids. Both of mine enjoyed it. Let's see. The water bills, we put them in the post office on the 5th, and unfortunately, a lot of people were letting us know that they did not receive it until pretty late. I think it took maybe a week and a half or so for them to get in. As a result of that, there were a few more late bills. I'd say an average of maybe 70 above our average, so not a lot, but also there were a few late ones. And then we should have a new utility clerk in the next couple of weeks. They're going through pre-employment right now, so hopefully they're able to come in and get adjusted fairly quickly so we can continue moving forward, especially as it relates to our utility bills, because we sent out notices on Friday about the new utility bills. So hopefully everybody is able to see those in the mail over the next couple weeks. There also should be information about the lead service line survey that residents had to fill out, but then also more information on what it means to have possibly lead or galvanized line. So,
Can I ask a question about that? I've
Yes.
been meaning to ask this a couple of years. If you fill out the survey, and yes, I have old galvanized pipes, and I don't know what's coming in, what does that do for them? If the city has enough people that are saying that, is there some opportunity for some cost sharing on?
I assume eventually it
replacing
kind of
that,
shows like proof of why we need it. If we wanted to undertake a larger project, most of it would be more city line, but there might be grants out there for individual houses.
The question I've heard is, well, how do I know if the city's servicing me with lead pipes? I know what I have in my house.
Yep, and that's
Maybe my house
the
was
only
an
part
old.
that the resident had to
Okay.
fill out.
I think that's where there's a lot of confusion. Why do I gotta fill this out? Cause what's in it for me, you know?
Well, doesn't it say on that survey that with this information, they may be able to get grants to have lines replaced, or, I can't remember.
I would bet that there will be grant opportunities in the future. So that's the positive of it.
And I just went down to see where my service came in and seen if it was galvanized or copper.
Yep.
So.
Otherwise, local government day, at the Capitol is on January 22nd, a Wednesday at 3 p.m. Is anybody interested in going? And if you are, we'll want to set up meetings with our representatives fairly soon, so that way we can get on their calendar.
What's the date on that again?
22nd. It's
Is
a
it a
Wednesday.
Wednesday? Yeah, it's a Wednesday.
Lori, are you going?
What's
I already have an
the
appointment that day.
logistics?
You do? I just opened my calendar.
Yep, so registration begins at
12 o'clock in
2:30.
Manhattan.
3 to 3:45 is the policy review and open discussion time. 4 p.m. is the legislative panel. It says it's to be determined. 5 o'clock is the reception with legislators. And then at 7, we adjourn. Before in the morning and around noon, that would be the time to try to speak with representatives.
And that's at the state capitol.
It is at the state capitol, yep.
You can count me in.
When do you have to know by?
Let's see. It says online registration is available until January 15th. We would enjoy it. Maybe the first week of January. That way we can get everybody registered.
If you've never been to the Capitol, it's very interesting. You can go meet with them in their office, and then like I sat in on some of their committee hearings in the state capitol, went down to the floor and watched a vote before, and then the league has a reception and you can talk to your representatives at that, so.
So I have Colleen and Chris, maybe Lori.
Let me see if I can change my appointment.
Maybe
that day.
Todd, maybe, yeah.
Maybe.
Aren't you retired now?
I had an appointment already scheduled. It had nothing to do with work.
Okay.
I plan on
And I
still being
wrote you
unemployed
down
at
as a
that
maybe.
point.
Otherwise, Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays.
Thank you.
May I ask a question, please?
Yes.
Is the city documenting every unsatisfactory encounter with the post office, with the congressional delegation?
We have not been sending it on to them. They do call us. It seems like every month or every couple months. So we talk to them then. Unfortunately, this was this was the first time since then. So, I mean, we will call them.
Thank you.
Good idea.
All right, thank you, Josh. Next, we have standing committee reports. Water and sewer, Matt. It's not at that meeting. If someone would like to provide an overview of what was discussed.
We talked about the, I'm gonna call it 1.5 inch line that runs from on Keystone on the north side. Right now it supplies with 8 houses, 7 houses, something like that along there. About replacing that line from the south side, boring under Keystone, tying into our water on the south side, and that 6-inch line, and
Running across,
putting a meter in the front of all the houses, and then taking it back around and tying it into those.
somewhat like we did on North 11th.
Pretty similar to that, yeah.
Is that the line that was rural water?
It was a rural water line, yes.
And they've had a lot of breaks.
They've had a lot of breaks. Guys spent a lot of time out there. And then continuing on down the hill to the couple new houses that are down there, just to get that whole section cleaned up, and then running a new, was it 6-inch line?
To the north.
North.
6-inch north to the water
To the
tower.
water tower.
Kind of going past Growers, going north.
And that will set us up for future expansion to the east.
Over in that 11th Terrace.
Terrace area, yeah, for development, yeah. But
Why we have everybody there.
that'll take care of everything. We're gonna try to get a quote or a bid for this project here, and then a bid for the other line too, so.
We had an exploratory
Right,
number
yes.
that I don't think scared anybody too much, but we
No.
want to look at, we don't want to just halfway do it. We want to look at maybe the rest and
Yeah.
see if it's something we can work into our budget.
Plus materials weren't in that.
Yeah, materials were not in that
Add
quote,
that
so.
in to get a better number.
But we were looking into it, so.
Was there any discussion in regard to that line? I know we have, I believe it's a old rural water line that runs across there from Kiowa.
We didn't go that far yet.
Okay, I didn't know if
Yeah,
that was.
we haven't got
'cause
that
it's-
far yet.
It's sort of adjacent, but
Yeah.
up, yeah. I know that's
He
been
was
an
more
issue as
interested
well.
in getting
Yeah,
the one up.
because it's like a 2-inch line or something that runs like a mile. I mean, it's,
Yeah.
but this potentially would make that easier to tap onto.
Yeah, well, and I think when you start looking at that property over by Kiowa, you're probably want to come off of 12th Road at that point.
That way, yeah.
Just not even have a line run
Instead of
across
going that
necessarily.
whole
At least not until
mile.
it develops someday.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah.
The whole point of this discussion was to stop bleeding money into repairs,
And just takes away the staff time too.
other
Well,
Right.
that's what Kent was saying. It takes 3 or 4 guys to go out there with the equipment, and
Yeah, doing that over and over is not efficient.
no.
It's not
Not unless he says you fix it here, and about 3 foot down the line, he says it breaks again.
Right, it's shown to be in desperate need of replacement, and this will set it up to not need repairs as much in the future, and be easier to repair when the time comes, because it won't be
Right.
in the back of every property.
Right.
Yeah. Okay, anything else discussed?
Just about getting the water and sewer rates out, to the public and things. I know we discussed getting an ad in the paper, and they're gonna do something on the website, I think.
Yep, it's already up on the website. Sorry,
Yeah,
I
there's a
forgot.
good story, there was a good story in the paper.
Yeah, and then also, I think we were gonna add notification to people on those who it's gonna affect the greatest, maybe some ways of getting help for those things, so we're gonna try and get some more information out on that as well, so.
So on the website, on the main page, you'll be able to find a tab on there that when you click on it, it goes to a PDF, and from there you can follow the gallons along that you've used in water, go off of that, and then if it's not during set sewer, then you can go straight across and then add those 3 numbers, the sewer, stormwater and water. But if it's during set sewer, you'd want to go find where your set sewer's at. So it should be fairly easy to use. I would definitely have a calculator with you though.
It's just a good way to get the information out, so that nobody's really surprised, we just wanna get it out.
Oh, they'll be surprised.
Well, as little a surprise. as possible.
And I don't expect anyone here to be an expert on municipal or utility finance. Heaven knows I'm not. But do be prepared with kind of to explain it, because I think there's a lot of confusion and concern, misunderstanding about how we got in the situation where we had to be here. I know that there's been some confusion about the stormwater utility, especially. A lot of folks think stormwater equals storm sewer, and although storm sewer is part of a stormwater system, it's not just storm sewers. Basically, it's tough to explain, I guess, but, you know, really any water that falls on the surface has to go somewhere. So whether there's a storm sewer there, or a ditch, or a ponding area, or whether it's engineered or needs to be engineered, it all falls under that utility. And that's only gonna be an increasing problem, as we build more. I mean, it's a problem that comes with success, I guess. But as we build out more, have more buildings, more roofs, it's gonna be more and more an issue. So regardless of whether there's an actual storm sewer, or curb, or ditch, or whatever, that water's gotta go somewhere. So we're trying to get ahead of making sure we aren't doing damage, and we're protecting people's property and investments, and, you know, be ready to do your best to explain that, and the rate increases as well. Nobody's happy about it, but we do have to do it, as we all well understand, and we just have to, do the best we can to explain that to the ratepayers.
So the minimums right now for the old, how many gallons is a minimum?
Right now, it'll go up, it's up to 2,500 gallons. It stays at that $44.
Okay. And there's not gonna be a minimum anymore?
Now the minimum is 0, and you're already getting charged for the meter size at that point.
Okay, I see that now.
And then to Kyle's point, I think he was at the last meeting, just want to reiterate, all the information from the rates survey and everything is on the website.
Yep.
Assessments, right?
It's on there.
So if anybody has questions or anything, please see that.
And if you want help figuring out what your bill's going to be, come in to City Hall, or we can talk to you over the phone and answer that.
That was.
That was it.
This is
Okay.
That committee meeting.
Oh, and then the utility bill.
Oh, yes.
Oh, okay.
There was a utility bill issue where somebody had a water leak that was leaking into the ground, and it caused their sewer, basically corresponding sewer rate to skyrocket. And I believe the committee's decision was to refund the difference, to set it back. Credit, sorry, I shouldn't say refund. Credit them for that amount, since it did not go into our system, our sewer system, sanitary sewer system. So that's I mean, to me, that's an example of we do want to make sure we work with people that have issues. We're not money grabbing over sewer dollars. We want to make sure we're being fair and equitable to ratepayers. Absolutely. Okay. We also had a street committee meeting. I don't know if, Lori, you want to present on that?
We do Dawson, 11 Terrace, and Keystone.
Correct.
More discussion on all that. Gosh, I don't even really remember. I feel like it was just kind of went over what we discussed at the last meeting.
Yeah. Pretty much, yeah. How Dawson wasn't aligned where it needed to be, and we had a check-in for
The plat and the.
plat and property easements, or
Yeah.
There was proper easements in place to, if the current landowner decided he wanted to sell it, that we would still be able to service Dawson as it meets the concrete. Yeah, I think that was a bit of a concern. Did we get any more info on?
Yeah, so we're still fact-finding a little bit on it.
Okay.
We do have some of those answers, but I think we need to explore more into them. So if we don't have an easement for the road, so if we want an easement, do we put it where it's supposed to be at? But then, or where it is.
Well, isn't there?
And then if we put it where it's supposed to be at, are we putting it actually in that area? Because then we have to build a road.
Is that like, what, phase 4?
Yes.
yeah, that was phase 4.
So there's not active utilities that have been placed there, correct?
No, it's
That's
set
a
up
ways
to
off.
feed,
Yeah.
sewer-wise, set up to feed active utilities, but
Yeah.
no, there's no active utilities there.
Now, from your place on north, isn't there water, or kind of northwest, isn't there water and
Like through phase 2?
electrical
I think it's
going
also
up through
set up.
that, Jeff?
Well, so where I'm at, just to the east of my house, there's a road between myself and Kemplays,
Right.
and I believe the sewer line goes up to, there's a gas line that runs up there.
Right.
You can kind of see it if you look
Yeah.
from the meter. Ends there, and then the water and sewer also goes all the ways to the west, probably another 500 foot from my house, and you'll see all kinds of hydrant and all kinds of valves
in
down
there.
there. That's kind of the stopping point.
Okay.
Okay, so we'll still need a little bit of clarity
Still a work in
with,
progress.
as far as that, was 12th Road discussed as well?
Nah,
The first half of it from
From-
the highway down to hometown, as bad as that's getting, we talked about
getting bids.
getting bids for removal of
The broken up asphalt,
and putting rock back down in there to,
to make it safe,
Safer.
remediate the immediate issue?
yeah, cause right now there's 2 and 3 inch drops off the edges.
And
There's-
cars are going towards each other to get in the middle, which is still
Right.
good to try, and it's just really dangerous.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, we're trying to remedy that. We're
So-
just trying to figure out the best process to do that.
we're going out to bid, see if we can get somebody.
I was gonna
in
say,
to-
so we're in the
with a
process
hose or
of, do
something.
you know when we can expect
Instead of us doing it.
kind of?
Yes, I did get an estimate, and I can bring that to the street committee, to see what that's gonna look like. Cause that does not include putting the material back on there,
Right,
of course, and it doesn't include putting driveways back on
right.
there, so, yeah, that will have to.
So we'll need to
Look
have
at-
a street committee meeting soon. Do you think you'll be able to know more on the Dawson situation by then?
Yeah,
Just
I'll
so
have
that
to
it can
talk,
be-
well, it depends, I'll have to talk with, the attorney.
Okay.
The next meeting will be what, the 13th of
Yes.
January? We need one before then, you think?
Was there anything else on the street committee that we had?
I just have 12th Road written down
Okay,
to bring that back.
yeah, we can do that before then, if,
Just holler, people are available.
Yeah.
Holler, we'll see when we can all get together again.
And as a refresher, where are we at with, Faneuil on the 10th Street?
let's see, trying to remember where we were at last time. What did he say during the committee, that he needs to,
Going back and do some refiguring.
he's gotta go to
on-
KDOT
Yeah.
too.
So, do you know, we might be able to have something from him by that time as well?
I would doubt it.
Don't think so?
No.
Okay. Well, you know.
Yeah, he figured it was
Hope
gonna be
springs
a
eternal.
long, drawn-out deal with
Oh, I
KDOT.
assumed, but I don't want us to miss a chance to move the process forward either.
Just like you said, changing concrete to asphalt,
Yeah.
and some new specs and, yeah.
Cause there were also
Huh?
add-ons and.
Yeah.
Yeah. That we were talking about.
Okay. All right, so, yeah, I guess we'll try to get a street committee meeting scheduled to discuss that. Were there any other standing committee reports or standing committee meetings? I don't believe.
Admin didn't meet.
We do need to set up an admin.
Okay.
And that one we would prefer fairly quickly,
Prior to the end of the year.
not unless you want to.
Let's go after we'll just let Sammy figure that one out. Since I'm not proud.
After the first year.
To discuss anything in particular?
To discuss, job description, and then also to discuss, rates for, prosecutor.
Okay. Yeah, just whenever works after the first, even if it's late that week, I guess it's like next week, or the week after. I know I'm gonna be gone for most of the week, but
Yeah, so anytime the 6th through the
the
10th.
6th would be great, maybe.
Is it something you wanna bring to council on
Admin
the
finance,
13th?
yes.
I know.
Actually, I'm gonna be gone the 6th. So yeah, if we could, I mean, anyway, we could do it the 2nd or the 3rd.
The 3rd?
That would be great.
And, Badger.
Yeah, because the week after that, I'm gone.
Yeah, I'm gone till
And we
Friday.
have
I'm gone the
court
week
on the
after
8th.
you're gone. You're gone the 6th, I'm gone
I'm gone till the
13th.
the 13th week.
You don't necessarily have to be there, but I'd like to
Well,
be
I
there.
might, hold on, let me look. Yeah, I leave Tuesday, so.
All right, well, we'll figure it out, I guess. No pressure.
Okay.
Are there,
Do the 2nd?
I mean, I could.
I don't think I'm around.
Your hangover should be done by then.
The second I cannot, the third I could.
The third.
I work the third.
The fourth,
do
the
that.
fifth.
Could do it after.
Let's let Sammy.
We'll let,
Schedule
Sammy will
this.
figure it out. I have full faith.
I'll look at the calendar.
I should just
Okay.
add you
Get
to
in
my
touch.
calendar.
Yes.
Share my calendar with you.
Just share it Sammy's way. All right, do we have any other committees that need to meet?
I thought
Do
we
you
were
have any?
supposed to have, like, set up a place.
Oh, yes.
About car parking.
That after the first of the year, right? Well,
Yeah.
I can't remember.
Do you remember what all it was on? Sure.
About how long cars can
Oh,
sit
the
on the
24
street.
hour.
Okay,
The
yep.
24-hour.
And that could probably, that doesn't need to be a rush.
Right, right.
After the first year. Wow, Lori and Todd are gone.
Weird. Huh? Said weird.
You're probably going somewhere fun. I'm going to Minnesota, so.
Not going to Minnesota.
Okay. We'll get that figured out. Moving to, appointments and wage determinations, I have two, included here. The first is, Mackenzie Maddox, reappointment to the Convention and Tourism Committee for, term being January 2025 through December 2027.
Move to approve.
Question, please.
Yeah.
With the unification into one Marysville, does the terminology change?
This will be the same committee, like it'll still be a convention and tourism committee. This committee will then, approve, well, not approve, but recommend the contract for One Marysville to go to full council. If there's any, outside responsibilities that One Marysville cannot handle, that still falls under the tourism dollars, then that committee would also meet then.
So it still exists even with the unification?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Move to approve Mackenzie Maddox appointment.
Second.
Okay, so moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
There you go.
Thank you. I also have here, appointment of Luke Sunderland for city attorney, January 2025 through December 2025. I would point out that, this will, be structured slightly differently than we have, had in the past, but we are fortunate to have somebody in an adjoining county who's got the experience, and ability and willingness to fill this role and help us as a counselor.
Where's he from?
Sabetha.
Move to approve the city attorney appointment.
Second.
Okay, any further discussion? Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Thank you.
And thank you to our current counselor for helping aid us in the transition on this as well. We appreciate it. Thank you for your service.
Thanks, Aaron.
Thank you.
Thanks, Aaron.
Good luck in the prosecutor role.
Appreciate it.
Enjoy. And do you have anything for us tonight?
Other than Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays to all the members of the council and to the city of Marysville, that's all I have for this evening.
Thank you, Aaron.
Thank you.
Does anyone have a need for an executive session?
Probably should go in executive session for personnel matters.
Okay.
Move the city council recess into executive session, discuss personnel matters of non-elected personnel, discussion on specific personnel matters, not general personnel policies, exception KSA 75-4319B1. The session will include mayor, city council members, city administrator, and city attorney.
Okay.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded.
Oh, yeah, sorry. And we'll resume at 8:15.
Okay,
Second.
it's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
There it is.
All right, we now return to regular session from executive session where no binding decisions were made. Unless anyone sees a need for another executive session, we will move into council comments. Lori?
Just hope everybody has a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. That's all I got.
Same here. I don't have anything.
Billy?
Happy New, or Merry Christmas.
Both.
Both, and Happy New Year.
Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, and I hope you all enjoy your time with your families.
Keith?
I was asked if there was any updates where we at on the street lighting at Hartley Ridge.
That's a good question.
Yeah, so we already have the locations. I think Evergy is setting the poles. We just need to pay for the digging for the lines. I don't know the timeline exactly, but I know that they're moving on it fairly quickly right now. I do know that it's taken a while since it was originally accepted though, so.
Anything else? Good.
Just wish everybody Merry Christmas, and Happy New Year.
Chris?
Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. Thanks to city staff, all the guys out on the streets. I know they're probably gonna be starting to get busier pretty soon with the snow, so. can't
Say
forget
that
the guys
word.
that are-
Snow.
Don't say that word.
Gonna be no
Too
snow.
late. Sorry, no. Yep, but just appreciate everybody that keeps things going. And don't we need to set up?
Yeah, I'll get
Gotcha.
there. Kyle?
Just Merry Christmas, everyone.
All right. Well, we are not going to adjourn tonight. We are going to recess for our year-end wrap-up meeting, continuation of this meeting, as it were. When are we doing that? Next week?
Does Monday work?
Monday work for you?
You thinking 5:30, something along those lines?
Fine with me.
Yeah.
I could even,
5:30 on Monday?
5:30 at Monday.
Okay.
Oh, you're gonna, not gonna.
We're not gonna conduct a lot of business, so if you can't make it, that's okay. We need to make sure we have quorum.
Is there gonna be an agenda for that?
No, it's
Because it's part of this meeting. It's basically to approve year-end bills.
Yes.
Okay.
Tie off the year. Okay?
It takes maybe,
What day?
2 minutes.
Monday.
If we're
be the
good.
30th.
yeah.
Unless we get chatty.
Shouldn't it, last year I think it took 3 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty brief.
1 minute?
Looked it up.
Oh, just a minute. Say, I know there wasn't much on it. It's usually the appropriation ordinance.
Can you time it to the
Maybe.
10th of a second? Should we challenge ourselves?
Yeah, I'm saying.
All right, so I would entertain a motion to recess.
Move to recess until Monday, December 30th,
Second.
5:30.
5:30.
Okay, moved and second to recess. Any further comments? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, we will stand recessed.